What a shambolic refereeing display from one Andy Madley. The fouls were soft. And you can say that maybe because I'm a Man United fan, that I'm biased. I'm not. Dude, anybody that was watching this game, you can check the Instagram feeds, Twitter feeds, whatever feed you want to see. Everybody was complaining how bad the refereeing was. Even neutrals were saying that. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Futbol Kaki. I am your host ManUtd. Yes, today is just me and I am so happy today because Manchester United have officially eliminated Arsenal from the FA Cup. What a game it was. I was so annoyed because I found the first half really boring. But after that, in the second half, everything just unraveled. I've got a lot of things to say, but today I just want to say to everybody in Singapore, hello. Please enjoy the weather now. As you can see from me wearing a jacket. Yes, it is very cold in Singapore now. It is unusually cold because it is currently what we will call monsoon season here in Singapore. The rain has been continuous for the past 4 days since last Friday, and temperatures have generally been below 30 degrees. There's not been a lot of sunlight, which is a bit weird for Singapore because Singapore generally, for those of you who are not familiar with our country, it actually soars above 30 to 32 degrees on a regular basis for us with high humidity. So the fact that now some of us can actually wear jackets outside of our own house or outside of work, where we can walk and feel like it's aircon weather outside. Of course, we will definitely love it if it wasn't aircon weather and rain. If it was just aircon weather by itself, that would be awesome for Singapore weather. So for everybody out there in Singapore, especially with the flash floods going on, please stay safe. We are a football podcast after all, and I think for today, there are a few things that I would want to speak on because we've usually got our segments where me and Paul will always talk about opposite things. Like Paul will always have his what's going on, but today, since it's me, we will have our what's going on segment. And then, of course, we will talk about the big game that happened over the weekend where Manchester United defeated Arsenal at the Emirates 5-3 on penalties after the conclusion of a 1-1 draw at full time. The refereeing in this game was absolutely atrocious. As a Man United fan, I will say this, and I can see from a lot of people who have been commenting on ESPN's Instagram page and other sources of material which have highlighted the referee's issues. Yes, that was one of the worst refereeing things I've ever seen in my life. And I really have seen bad ones from Michael Oliver and for Anthony Taylor. Yesterday, the referee, Mr. Andrew Madley, oh my goodness, were you bad? We will talk about that. And then, of course, we of course got our FA Cup roundup and then followed by our match of the week, which is, of course, the North London derby happening this Thursday, Singapore time, 4 a.m., Wednesday if you're in England, where Arsenal will take on Spurs. We will see who has more to lose. Technically, right now, it is Arsenal because they are currently supposed to be in a title race. 6 points behind Liverpool, the league leaders, who have one game in hand. So, to begin, let's talk about what's going on in the world of Manchester City involving one Mr. Kyle Walker. Yes, as mentioned during the post-game press conference by Mr. Pep Guardiola, after they absolutely obliterated Salford City 8-0, Kyle Walker actually has made it known that he wants to leave Manchester City. He would like to play abroad and explore football outside of England before he retires. Now, for people who are unaware, Kyle Walker nearly did leave Manchester City for Bayern Munich in 2023, just after City won the treble. But of course, in the end, he decided to stay and renew his contract with City all the way until 2026. But it seems like now things have been changing. Pep did say that he left them out because he wants to have players that are playing where their mind is in Manchester City. And as a manager, I don't disagree with that, because if you have a player whose mind is not focused on playing football or deemed not in the right state of mind as a manager, right, you wouldn't want to have that type of liability on the field, aka Marcus Rashford. So with that, the question also becomes what are the options there for him? Because of course, you must remember that Kyle Walker is 34 years old. He's not young anymore. He's not the pacey right back that burst onto the scene at Sheffield United and then of course became well known at Spurs and then moved over to Man City, where he's won a multitude of Premier Leagues and of course the Champions League. But now there are rumors saying that he's actually been working with Inter Milan or like City's been working with Inter Milan to actually have a season-long loan for him as soon as possible. So Inter Milan is one option. Another is AC Milan, who have begun talks with Man City, but it does not seem like there will be any foregone conclusion between the two clubs for those talks. Saudi Arabia is, of course, another viable option with, of course, previous teammates Riyad Mahrez and Aymeric Laporte going over to the Saudi league to join Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, and a bunch of other fellow superstars who have gone there to basically improve the Saudi Liga. The other location probably could be also Bayern Munich, because currently with injuries that are facing Sacha Boey and Stanisic, Joshua Kimmich has been played out of his usual midfield position to cover as a right back. So even though it may just be a short-term fix for a right back position, which they desperately do need, because I do think that at the end of the day, Sacha Boey is a long-term, more or less the right back for Bayern Munich. It will work because, of course, the pace of the game is slower in Germany. It's not as aggressive as England. And definitely, if let's say he wants to explore playing abroad for a period of time, Bayern Munich is not a bad example, because it's Champions League, you still have a good team to play with, and pretty much you are guaranteed the league title. We thought that was the case until last season when Bayern didn't win the league title and Bayer Leverkusen won, even though everybody was saying Harry Kane was guaranteed the league title at Bayern Munich. But then again, at the end of the year, we said, you can leave Spurs, but Spurs doesn't leave you. But enough of the jokes. These are interesting situations because currently at the moment, right, he's at a point in his career where moving away from England may be a more viable option if he wants to prolong his footballing career. As we all know, the EPL league is very competitive. It's very physical. Your body will at a certain point have a certain limit to how capable you are, and your peak performance will not be as strong. And like Patrice Evra has said before, moving to Juventus was one of the best things that happened to him because it helped him prolong his career. And moving away from a game that is physical and maybe a bit more slowed down, maybe a bit more toned, a bit more, forgiving in a sense, would be a good move for Kyle Walker, definitely, if he wants to continue playing football at the highest level. Man City may not be a situation where he foresees himself playing until he's 36. But I would say that maybe if he goes to Bayern or maybe the Serie A with either Inter Milan or AC Milan, he can probably play maybe until he's 36, 37 or maybe even 38 years old. As we have seen, many of the Italian legends have played close to their 40s while they are playing in Serie A. So I think this probably would be good for him, and I think he's evaluating his progress because people want to say, oh, but it's Kyle Walker, he's one of the best right backs in the world. Bro, he got bullied by Adama Traore. He doesn't have the pace anymore. So maybe slowing it down and understanding that it's time to move away from the EPL probably would be a good thing. So for those of you who have opinions or you want to say, do let us know in the comments below. Where do you think Kyle Walker will end up, and maybe your reasons why you think he will actually end up there. For me, I do think actually probably maybe Bayern Munich would be a good choice for him. Either that or Inter Milan in that particular setup where it can transition smoothly for him to play in a much slower league pace game. I think Serie A probably would definitely be a good thing, but if he wants to earn money or he wants to play competitive with some familiar faces, Saudi, of course, definitely is a good liga. Real Madrid, I would say that it's not a good option because they are going to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So, that's what I think. Hopefully, he makes a good decision and City do get some remuneration for him because, of course, his contract still is expiring in 2026. Currently, it's only 2025. So, moving on from that, we are coming to the big game, which is, of course, Arsenal versus Manchester United in the third round of the FA Cup. Now, this game officially finished 1-1 after extra time, and usually in past years we will always have our third round replays, but this year with the new ruling, it is going to conclude in a penalty shootout, which United won 5-3. What a game. I spoke to Jordan and Paul during the first half, and I said to both of them, I said, wow, this game is a bit boring. And we were talking about this feels like a preseason friendly. It's kind of like an exhibition game. But in that second half, everything burst to life. Bruno took the lead with a brilliantly well-worked counter-attacking goal. It was Dalot with the header. Saliba tries to clear, pushes it off straight away to Garnacho. Garnacho runs down the wing. And usually in past situations, I would expect Garnacho to shoot, but I was surprised. He passed it to Bruno, who with a finesse volley hits it into the far post, leaving David Raya stranded in the middle of the goal. Later in the game, there was some minor controversy with Diogo Dalot receiving a red card for a second yellow for an attempted tackle on Martinelli. When I say attempted tackle, there was literally no contact and there was no warning. He just immediately got sent off. After that, there was the equalizer from Gabriel where he took a deflection off the lid, and then came the penalty. What a nonsense call. How was that a penalty? Then the game went on. United played with 10 men for about 70 minutes, inclusive of extra time. Got away with the win by India, saving 2 penalties, of course, denying Odegaard in normal time, and then, of course, saving the Havertz penalty during the actual penalty shootout. Now, before I get into my overall analysis and understanding of both teams, I have to say this. What a shambolic refereeing display from one Andy Madley. The fouls were soft. And you can say that maybe because I'm a Man United fan, that I'm biased. I'm not. Dude, anybody that was watching this game, you can check the Instagram feeds, Twitter feeds, whatever feed you want to see. Everybody was complaining how bad the refereeing was. Even neutrals were saying that. The fouls were soft. Every other time United got the ball or were able to try to get the ball off Arsenal, it was called a foul. When Arsenal did the same, it was not the case. A clear example was when Bruno was taken down outside of the box after Gabriel Jesus collided with him. Gabriel Jesus got injured. Bruno was upset because his boot fell off and he was trying to explain to the referee, how was that not a foul? Can you explain to me how that's not a foul? Bruno got a yellow card for dissent. And there was no VAR because currently in the third round of the FA Cup, there is no VAR. But how was that not a foul? It was a clear contact from the back going through. Andy Madley gives a yellow card. Fine. Nothing to say. United kind of did what they had to do. Arsenal did find it hard to break United down up until the momentum changer whereby even though United scored, Diogo Dalot commits a rather reckless challenge. I would say reckless because technically if you are a player, no matter what, if you know the referee is not going to give you the chances or warnings, right? Don't do anything stupid like that. He did it anyway. He tackled Martinelli. Martinelli jumps over him and without a single warning, immediately gets a second yellow card. Most referees, generally, if you're unbiased or, in my opinion, if you're fair, would probably give a warning. Immediately, without hesitation, he gives a second yellow card. And I'm like, I get Diogo Dalot is he's not the greatest. I have my problems with him, but that was just stupid from him. But the fact that there was no warning, no call, barely any contact, Martinelli jumped over, and it was immediately just a red card, a second yellow. How does that make sense? After that, the next incident is, of course, the penalty shout. How was it a penalty? You are telling me that if I put my hand here without any force, the person that I'm touching like this, right, can fall down the way Kai Havertz fell down. The dude looked like he got pushed with 2 hands going like that and he just fell down. Whereas Harry Maguire just put his hand there, it touches his chest, Havertz falls down. Immediate penalty. How? And my question mark will be, if a touch like that can be so forceful to heavy to make a player fall down, right? Why is it that when he was fighting with Ugarte after that, which he did hold Ugate's neck, by the way, it took him a lot more for him to fall down rather than a touch? If that's not a dive, then I don't know what else to call it already. And to be honest, I was like, justice was served the moment by India saved the penalty from Martin Odegaard. I don't care about what Arsenal fans think or whichever, what they want to say, right? The referee gave you a gift and you couldn't capitalize and you missed it. I've seen bad refereeing performances, right? But I've never seen anything like what I saw yesterday. Not even from Michael Oliver. Not even Anthony Taylor. So the fact that this performance is worse than whatever I've seen from both those other 2 referees, right, tells you a lot that you need to know already. You can ask any other fan that has watched that game yesterday. They will say that refereeing was horrible. It was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I've said my piece about the refereeing. Now let's move on to the analysis of both teams. I think that for Man United, as a fan, right, that was what I wanted to see. 70 minutes with just 10 men fighting, clawing, doing their best, fighting for one another, giving everything they had. One clear example of how I knew that this was different was when, in the 90th minute, when Bruno had a free kick, Arsenal cleared the entire 10 players, 9 players attacking, all ran all the way back to deny Arsenal the counter-attack. And by the time Arsenal got a shot off, right, in what should have been an easy counter-attack where they would have had 2 players, United had 4 or 5 players near the ball blocking that shot, protecting by India from a potential counter and denying Arsenal the goal. Matthias De Ligt, what a clearance off the line. Manuel Ugarte, absolutely unbelievable performance again. Harry Maguire, I respect you now. I've had my fair share of things to say about you in the past, but you have earned my respect because of the way that you fought back into this team. You kept your head down. You didn't go to the media. You didn't do anything. You kept your head down, proved that you can play at the highest level. And now, in the past 2 games, you were probably Manchester United's best defender on that pitch. Before I conclude the Man Utd segment, Bruno Fernandes, you are finally acting like a captain. You are organizing the team. You are pushing them forward, doing what you can to make sure that we win the games or we put ourselves in good positions to win. You're running back, you're tracking, you're fighting, which you've always done, but you're not doing it recklessly anymore. You're doing it with discipline. You're making sure that the players are okay, communicating with them, telling them the direction that the manager wants, buying into the system. And you can see because of that, right, the players are actually buying into what Amorim has done, especially in the past 2 games where they played Liverpool and, of course, Arsenal. To be honest, I'm very happy with where they are. I know there's a lot of things that they can improve, but I do think that there are some players that need to leave. There are some players that probably they do not fit the system anymore. One being Casemiro and Eriksen, and the fact that Toby Collier got the nod to go in at 10 men rather than Casemiro and Eriksen kind of says what all you need to know already. I think Eriksen, Casemiro, and Rashford's time at Man Utd are all up already. I don't think that they're going to go there, but man of the match definitely is Bindia. Unbelievable saves. The penalty save, the denying the 2 chances from Declan Rice with the header, and then, of course, that low-driven shot that would have ended up in the back of the net had he not gotten a touch rate. So, Bindia, man of the match, redeem yourself after that howler against Spurs. Now, for Arsenal, right, it's back to the same old topic and the same old comments that I have been saying, Paul's been saying, everybody's been saying. You guys need a striker. Kai Havertz is not him. He's not. Gabriel Jesus is not him. Eddie Nketiah was not him. Yesterday, Kai Havertz had a shot inside the 6-yard box. The ball fell to him directly and he skies it over the crossbar. All he had to do was get it on target and it's a goal. You all need a striker. And the fact that now your primary source of goals, which has been set pieces, has been neutralized. Saka is not playing. Are you really going to rely on Kai Havertz? Are you going to really rely on defenders like Gabriel to score you goals every single game? That is not sustainable. And you can say, okay, Man United, we have a worse situation. Yes, but we weren't title contenders. Arsenal were. Arsenal was touted to be the league champions of the 2024 and 2025 EPL season. But instead now, Liverpool are looking more or less like they're the champions-elect, getting their 20th league title in their history, tying Manchester United. While Arsenal, under Mikel Arteta, could end up another season without a trophy. You're playing your crosstown rivals in a game this weekend. No, in a game midweek. If you all don't win, and Liverpool win the game in hand, that's a 9-point gap. You could be literally out of the title contention. And it will take a miracle for Liverpool to drop 9 points in the next 18 games. Yes, they lost to Spurs, but it's Liverpool. They'll find a way back. They've done it before and they'll do it again. Arsenal were supposed to be the league champions elite with Manchester City falling off, all the other teams rebuilding like Chelsea, Liverpool going through a transition phase with Klopp leaving and of course Arne Slot taking over. This was your year and you blew it because you didn't get a striker. That 30-goal striker was what you all needed to get over the hump and you all didn't do it. Which begs the question now, how much longer will it be for you Arsenal fans to consider that the Arteta project is done? If you all don't win another trophy, then how? You're out of the FA Cup. You're probably not going to win the league. There ain't no way you're winning the Champions League. And you're trailing behind in the EFL Cup where your manager blamed the ball and saying that it affected you guys. How? What's the situation? What's the story? What are you guys going to do? When is it going to be a point where it goes from we're getting there, we're competing for titles to a point where it becomes my manager can't get us over the hump? How much longer? Ten Hag got two more trophies than you in the same tenure, whilst Arsenal finished second twice when you could have won the league 2 years ago. And you should have won the league this year with the team that you have. Arsenal fans, what is there to say? It's probably time for you to either move on or accept the fact that you need a striker, or you have to move on your manager. Because if your manager is not going to fight for a striker for you, there's absolutely nothing that you guys can do already. Because that has been the one key missing piece that you've been having for the past 2 years, and yet nothing has been done for it. Instead, you paid that amount of money for Kai Havertz when you could have gotten Ivan Toney. You could go after Victor Gyökeres. Whether or not he will come because Arsenal players mocked them during the Champions League, I don't know. You could go after Victor Osimhen. Will he come? We are not sure. But he also would like to leave Napoli as well. So I will conclude this portion, this segment. And of course, Manchester United, of course, do advance into the fourth round of the FA Cup, where they will face former Manchester United player and former interim manager Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester City. Now, before we move on to the match of the day, we of course do have our FA Cup roundup. Now, to begin, Manchester City absolutely destroyed Salford City 8-0, beating what Pep has called his hometown team because he does say Salford. City will move on to the fourth round, and they are yet to know who their opponents are because the tie between Leyton Orient and Derby County has yet to commence. So the winner of Leyton Orient and Derby County will, of course, go on to play against the EPL champions Manchester City. Liverpool go through, beating Accrington Stanley 4-0 with goals from Diogo Jota, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Dance, and of course Federico Chiesa. It's good to see Chiesa back on the score sheet. Liverpool will play Plymouth Argyle in the fourth round. Then of course we also got other EPL teams whereby Bournemouth and Fulham also advanced with resounding victories where the Cherries beat West Brom 5-1 while Fulham beat Watford 4-1. Bournemouth will take on Everton in the fourth round while Fulham will take on either Mansfield Town or Wigan in the fourth round. And lastly, to round off, Spurs and Aston Villa also won their respective games in the third round, with Spurs beating Tamworth away from home 3-0, while Aston Villa beat West Ham 2-1 at home, setting up their fourth round clash, whereby Spurs will, of course, play Aston Villa. Now, speaking of Spurs, we come to our match of the week, which is the North London derby happening this Thursday, Singapore time 4 a.m. Arsenal versus Spurs at the Emirates. Spurs definitely will go into this game with more momentum because they did beat Liverpool in their EFL Cup semi-final, first leg, 1-0, and then, of course, winning Tamworth 3-0. Now, there's, of course, that viral video of a plumber from Tamworth going around circles around the Spurs players, but that's a topic for another day. Arsenal, on the other hand, have lost their games to Newcastle, which probably will see them out of the EFL Cup. And then, of course, they lost yesterday night to Manchester United. Now, this game probably would tell you everything that you would need to know, because for Spurs, the only way to go is up. When you lose 10 games in a single season when it's only about 20 games, kind of like it can't get any worse than this because they are 8 points away from the relegation zone. So technically they do have some buffer. But if I was Spurs, just go all out and just go at Arsenal. Just have a shot. Try your best. And if anything, you lose another game, you still won't get close to relegation, but at least you give it your shot. And knowing Postecoglou ball, they'll probably just do that and just absolutely give it a shot. Whereas Arsenal, on the other hand, if you all lose this game, your title chances are slipping away indefinitely already. And your chances of a trophy this season will not be there. Yes, you're second place now, but you're 6 points behind Liverpool, who do have a game in hand. So if Liverpool win their game in hand, it's 9 points. You all lose, it's 12. It's as good as bye, guys. Liverpool's not going to drop a 12-point gap to second place. To be frankly honest, I do think that y'all blew it big time this year. And if y'all don't win a trophy, I think as a neutral from the outside, it might be time for Arteta to go and give somebody else the reins. Because if he's not going to win a trophy with the best team that Arsenal's had in a long time, right? He's not going to win a trophy ever. It's a mentality thing. With that, my prediction for this game will be, of course, a 2-2 draw. Because I don't think that either club is going to have the edge over the other one. And I have a feeling that Spurs will be Spurs. But then again, Arsenal will be Arsenal. So, I've got not much to say about this other than I think that a 2-2 draw will probably be a fair result. And if that were to happen, I think it will affect Arsenal a lot more than it will affect Spurs. Because Spurs will be, the only way to go is up. When you lost 10 games, which is half of the total game tally, it can't get any worse. And they're definitely not a team that will actually be worse than what they are. Yeah. So, with that, we have come to the end of this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki. Alright, so that is it for this week's episode of the Futbol Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Podcast Network. Now, for those of you who are tuning in, we just want to say thank you, and we hope that you continue to watch our other shows here on the network, which of course are the Kopi Bros every Monday, where we talk about fun and trivial topics. And then, of course, if you do like game shows, we do have the SG Draft podcast every Friday, where we come together and draft about different topics. Of course, you can, vote for your favorite teams if you have listened to the episode, which comes out every Friday. Voting begins on our Instagram stories every Friday or at 12 p.m. and of course closes at 12 p.m. on a Saturday. You have the power to vote for your favorite teams on the draft. So do keep a lookout for that every Friday on our Instagram stories and of course our YouTube channel to watch the episode. So now, for those of you who have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. And if you have subscribed to our channel, please ask your friends to subscribe to our channel so that we can continue to grow this channel and put out more great content from you. We thank you so much for the support over the past 2 years that we've been doing this, and we hope that we continue to put out more stuff for you, and we hope that really you guys continue to share this channel with your friends and help us grow into what we think we can be, which is bigger than what we currently are. So from everybody here at the Futbol Kaki and the Chit Podcast Network, from me, ManUtd, have a great week ahead. Glory, glory, Man United. I won't say we are back, but we are close to getting there. Ruben Amorim has been wonderful for us. Arsenal fans, Arteta out or Arteta in? You decide. See you soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you.